If your exec's emails are landing in the same inbox as everything else, newsletters, CCs, and important updates, you are just one busy day away from missing something really important. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up one Outlook rule that automatically moves every email from your exec into a priority folder so that you can, and then it will flag it for follow-up. So it shows up in your task list in Microsoft To Do as well, so you're never going to lose anything important. Now, I want you to know that this will work for your exec, your manager, a key client, anyone whose emails that you really just can't afford to miss. So you can apply this to whatever works best for you. And what I'm going to show you is what we're building in this system. So I'm working in this email account. You can see I've got a folder called Priority. And then in that, we've got a bunch of emails. These ones all come from a particular email address, and they are all flagged as follow-up. Now, I've got them set with no date, which means just by them being flagged, they will appear in my Microsoft to-do list as a task that I can action that way as well. So we've got two things happening with this one rule. Let me show you how we set it up from scratch. So the first thing that you'll need to do is, if you don't already have a folder that you want these to go into, then you need to create one. And the best way to do that is to just right-click and create new folder and give it a name of whatever you want. So you can see I've got the one here that is Priority. So I'm going to use that one. You can name this whatever makes sense to you. Some people use exec, some use urgent, some might use their exec's name or their manager's name. It doesn't really matter. It just needs to make sense to you and be really obvious. So the next thing we're going to do is build the rule. And to do that, I am in Outlook Classic on the desktop of a PC. So that's what I'm working with. If you're working in something different, yours might look a little bit different to mine. So I'm going to head to the File tab, and we're going to go Manage Rules and Alerts. And you can see I've got this one here that's emails from the boss, which I've set up. So I'm going to create a new one that basically does the same thing. If you're managing multiple inboxes, make sure that you have selected the correct one to start with. So we're going to create a new rule, and we can start it from a blank rule. Is probably the easiest way because we don't want to template anything. We're going to build it in sections so you understand how it all works. So it's going to apply this rule to messages that I receive. We go next. So the first thing that we do is we set a condition. Now the condition is what triggers the rule. So in this case, it's going to be emails from a specific person. So I'm going to choose this one, from people or public group. And you can see what it's doing is it's building the rule at the bottom here. I can click on this little underline here, which opens it up, and I can now nominate what email address I want to receive it from. So I'm going to put my main email address in. You would put your exec or your managers or the specific person's email that you want to move. So you can see it's changed. It recognizes the account name. So it will do that. It may do that for you. If it's an external person, it may just leave the email address. So that's your condition done. So you can see that after a message arrives from this email address, so we now need to tell it what we want it to do. So the actions. And this is the important part. This is what happens when it recognizes a message has come in from that email address. What do we want it to do? So in this instance, we are going to set two actions. We are going to move it to a specified folder. We're also going to flag the message. I'm going to do two things. Now, the other thing that you can do at this point, if you want, if you're the kind of person who hates seeing that unread messages number creep up, you can actually mark it as read as well. So that's going to automatically turn it from an unread message to read. So you won't have that magic number flashing at you. For some people, they like that. If you're happy to have that number, you can just remove that and not tick that box. So I'm going to flag the message now. I've got this little underlined hyperlink. If I open this, it's opening up my follow-up, and I can choose now how I want it to follow up. So I'm going to do it as purely a follow-up, and then I'm going to set it. Now, this will be based on the date it comes in. So it would be today being the day the email arrives, tomorrow, this week, next week. I'm going to set it as no date. So it's not going to have the reminders, but it will appear as a flagged email in To Do, which is how I would probably manage this list so that it's not sitting in my inbox with all the other noise. So I'm going to go okay. So you can see it's flagging it as follow-up no date, and I'm going to move it to my specific folder. So your new folder may not show. You might have to open your inbox. So I'm going to tick, whoops, what's happened there? It's had a bit of a meltdown. There we go. It's just having a moment, and you can see it's changed now. So we go next. So the exceptions. So exceptions are, you might want to have that your exec sends you newsletters or automated reports that you don't want flagged as priority. So you could add the exception here for some of your subject line where the subject contains specific words. Or you might have an exception for if your name is, except if your name is in the BCC box or not in the to box, because it means it hasn't really come to you. You're just a part of a mailing list. Okay, so think about some of the emails that you would probably keep in your inbox. But if you don't have any of those, then we can just skip this section. In my instance, I'm not going to do anything here. That's all fine. So the next thing that we need to do is give it a name. Now you want to give this rule a name that means that everything, when you look at it, when you want to edit it, when you're talking about it or potentially teaching this or sharing it with someone else in the organization, it wants to make sense. So I'm going to put here boss emails to priority folder. Super, super easy, right? Keep it clear, keep it simple, keep it concise. And then we can run it on rules already in the inbox. That will work if you're on a server, on an Exchange server. But if you're just running an account only one, it won't. We make sure it's turn on this rule, and we can create this rule on all accounts if you're running multiple accounts. And then I click finish. So this is an account-based one. It's going to sit purely in this account. It's like a desktop rule. It's not sitting up in the cloud. And that's because of the way my setup is sent. So we go apply. I'm going to just turn that one off for a second so that we don't have any duplicate issues. And it's now up and running. So what I'm going to do now is to prove that it happens, I am going to send an email. So I have got a blank one here that's going to come from my email account. So I'm going to send a quick one here. It's going to go to team. Go nice and easy. Flagged. Oops. Let's follow up with no date. Move to priority folder. And mark as red. Okay, so I'm going to send that off. It's going to take a minute because it goes in my outbox from my other account first. It will appear imminently. It might take a moment. There it is. And it moved instantly. So it appeared, and there it is there. And it has a flag that says follow up. And if I open my to do in my flagged emails, this is that email that has just come, and it's sitting there so I can action it and deal with it from there as well. So that's the rule done and done. So as a quick reminder from video 1 in this series, this is a client-side rule, which means that Outlook needs to be open and running for it to fire. If I closed Outlook and emails come in while it's shut, the rule will then run when I next open it. And for most people, that's fine, but it's something that you should be aware of. So that's the rule set up. Emails from that exec will now move automatically into my priority folder, get flagged for follow-up in my task list. It's one rule with 2 actions and nothing slips through. This is part of my Outlook rules series. I will link the full playlist below so you can work through them in order, or you can jump to whatever's most useful for you. If you would love one practical tip like this every day, I have a daily email called the Daily Systems Fix. The link is in the description. It takes a couple of minutes to read, and you'll have something that you can action and use straight away. Subscribe if you're finding these useful, and I will see you in my next video.